Right. It wasn't just about the top 4 race this week. You've obviously got Liverpool playing this week, but of course Scottish football is in the limelight this week because tomorrow night Rangers are in a Europa League final, and to mark this occasion we here on OTB AM are picking our top 3 Celtic players of the season. Aisling O'Reilly is in studio. A great season for Celtic overall. Are you going to watch tomorrow night?
Yeah, of course I'll watch it. Yeah, absolutely. They put in really good performances away from the Scottish League. Some of their best performances. Surprising at times how good they were, to be honest. But yeah, I'll be watching, and I hope they come away with a loss.
So is this really? Genuinely, are you going to be following Eintracht Frankfurt?
Yes, I hope Frankfurt do a job. Yes.
Would it not be great for Scottish football, flying the flag? A European winner for a league much maligned by those who don't follow it. Isn't it a fantastic occasion?
Absolutely not. No, that's not how it works. Well, not for me anyway.
Really?
No. Why would I want to see them win? No chance. There are absolute rivals. Nobody wants to see that. It's just no.
Are you going to be supporting Liverpool in the Champions League final?
Absolutely not. But that's different.
How is it different?
It's the promotion of the English game, Colm.
Because
how is it different?
It's different, right?
Go ahead.
I have no affiliation with Liverpool, right? Really, they're all the way over there, right? But you're like Rangers, like they're in your town, like they're in Glasgow, do you know? They're there.
Even
right
more
next to
reason.
You. Yeah, so your neighbours, like. You know, you have to face them. You have to face them Thursday morning, being like, you know, what about last night? You know, I don't have to go near Liverpool, right? So I'm happy for them to lose, but for you, you have to like, you know, you're a Celtic fan living in Glasgow. This is in theory, obviously.
Okay.
Aisling doesn't live in Glasgow. This is theory,
what's this?
This is theory. But then you get up the next day and you're like, oh, how about last night, lads? You know, you'd spend the whole day with the Rangers fans. You know,
that's the whole point. That's why you want them to lose.
No, you want to live in harmony.
Do you think if it was flipped that the Rangers fans would be happy for Celtic to win?
What we'll do, we'll get a Rangers fan in. We'll ask them, right? We'll go back to 2004 or 2003, the UEFA Cup final, Celtic Porto, and be like, would you like Celtic to win? And you know what? Some of them might say yes.
I'd be very surprised.
Some of them might say no.
To be quite honest. So your top 3 Celtic players of the season. Do you want to take us through this number 3 to 1?
Yeah, it's really tough, and it's all new signings. There was a few close calls. I had Abada. He was nearly in there. He just won Young Player of the Year. A massive player for Celtic. We're going to see a lot from him. Giakoumakis, he was the top goal scorer in the Scottish League. Unbelievable. It took him a little bit of time to hit form, but once he did, he was incredible the whole season. Then you had Juranovic, Croatian right back. His pace, his quality on the ball, just exceptional. So all these players were so close. It was hard to pick it. Atata, Maeda, Jota as well. He's only 22, a lot of skill. His end product has been exceptional. Definitely a player that I think is going to go to the top, really. So we'll definitely watch out for him. But if I had to do my top 3 from 3 to 1, Kyogo was number 3. People might be a little bit surprised on that. They might have thought that Kyogo might have been up there in maybe number 1 even. He missed half the season with injury, but even at that, the impact that he has made since he came in from Japan in August. He came from the J-League as top scorer. His movement is so impressive about him, making the runs in behind defenders, constantly keeping defenders on their toes. And some of his goals have just been incredible. Just last weekend against Motherwell, he scored twice, and one he caught it on the volley. He didn't even look. It was just inside the box. He didn't even look, and straight into the top corner. Sort of like Larson-esque, you know. And that's a big statement. But he really gives you that slickness about him. And yeah, it's really exciting to see him and what he's going to do in a Celtic shirt over the next few years. Number 2 then, I went for Carter Vickers. Talks are ongoing at the moment for him. He signed on loan at the last minute of the transfer window from Tottenham. Pure strength, solid all season. He was so close to winning Player of the Year. Best defender, I think, that Celtic have had since Van Dijk. You know, and look at Van Dijk, that's a big statement too. You could see what sort of player he was, what he's gone on to do, what he's done at Liverpool. So yeah, Carter Vickers has been immense, really solid, really influential in the team as a whole. And yeah, he's been a massive player for Celtic. And then number 1, people may have guessed it by now, is Joe Hart. Unbelievable what his resurgence in his career. Celtic and Joe are just a perfect fit, I feel. And you hear him speak about Celtic now and how thankful he is for this opportunity. And it came in a time of his football career that he really needed it. We've seen him sign from Tottenham. He had failed spells at other clubs. And yeah, it's just immense to see what he's done. Like, he spoke at the very start that he just needed a bit of love. He needed a manager to believe in him, and he feels that he got that from Ange, and he means a lot, I think, to the Celtic fans. He's a pure leader. You can see that from obviously on the pitch, but even when he speaks, and a lot of the players talk about him in the dressing room as well, and the impact that he's made that way. So my number one would be Joe Hart.
Do you know when he signed, do you remember being excited or thinking, oh, you know, he's probably just going to be on the bench, or he might play a bit here and there? Because the articles written about Joe Hart before the Celtic move was like, this guy's finishing a sad demise, and the rapid demise of Joe Hart.
He was a figure of fun.
Absolutely, 100%, because his peak was Euro 2012, right up until that penalty shootout against Italy when Andre Pirlo made a mockery of him. And then, you know, very gradually went down. He was a brilliant goalkeeper for Manchester City and England for a long time. And then Pep Guardiola came in and straight away was like, no chance. And the gradual decline. And then I think playing against, was it Marine in the FA Cup for Spurs was, you know, one of his only appearances for a long, long time. And then on the bench at Burnley. So when he went to Celtic, I was like, why is Celtic going for him?
Yeah.
But he's really been that brilliant, is he? And the Celtic fans,
he really has. And I suppose there was a bit of uncertainty. You know, you didn't know what to expect. And of course, you read all this, you'd seen what he had done, but you could see the type of player he could be.
Yeah.
And then when you heard him speak, that he needed a bit of love was his words. You know, he actually needed that bit of belief in it. It just shows you what, like, a lack of confidence can do to a player.
Yeah.
And that if you do get that buy-in from a manager to really believe, look, you know, we'll put the effort in with you, obviously the time, the training, all of that. And psychologically, I'm sure as a goalkeeper, that's massive. So he obviously got that from Ange and from the whole team in Celtic. And he is the most important player.
Really?
He really is, because, as I said, like, not even just on the pitch, like, his performances have been exceptional. He's kept them in games, but he's really a leader. And you can hear him speaking afterwards, how the other players speak about him. You know, he is that influential player that Celtic really needed.
Yeah, and on the pitch then, does he have the ability to play out from the back? Because I know that was Pep Guardiola's big concern with him and why he left. Does Ange Postecoglou have him playing out from the back, or is he more traditional long ball? Is he able to mix it up? Like, with
he does
feet?
mix it up, yeah. He does do the long ball, but he definitely mixes it up, which works well for Carter Vickers. The both of them sort of team up well together. They read the game well together, and yeah, he's able to mix it up, and he honestly has been so influential. Like, it's some of his saves have honestly kept Celtic in it, especially say back in January time when it was touch and go. We're still chasing Rangers at that point, and he was probably a key figure to really keep things ticking along.
Yeah. What is your expectation / you know, hope next season for Celtic? Like, is it all resting on what happens in Europe and trying to get back to creating those famous nights at Celtic again, or can they do something, like, given the base that Rangers have now found? Say if they win tomorrow night and all of a sudden beating Rangers in the league again next season, is that enough?
I think to kick on, yes, you want to continue to beat Rangers, but also, Colm's laughing, but also, you know, Champions League is where they want to make an impact. I think Ange is a top manager. He deserves to be in the top leagues, showing his class. So I do think that's where they want to be. They want to make an impact. And the signings that he has made, like, they are superstar players. I said it to Ger a few days ago. They're superstar players that have came in on a budget and made such an impact. And they just need to get that cohesiveness together. They have it already, but it just consistently, game after game. If they can just get that to click completely, and he has obviously a few more signings to make, hopefully. We will see that too. So yeah, I think they'll want to make an impact in Europe for sure, and then continue to dominate in the Scottish League. You know, see back to back.
What's making the job Giovanni Van Bronckhorst has done at Rangers?
Yeah, I was unsure, I suppose, when Gerrard left, what was going to happen. You know, nearly thought it might upset the season a little bit. I was sort of happy about that, thinking, okay, you know, a new manager halfway, you know, definitely we'll see a bit of an upset here. And wow, they obviously buy into what he's saying.
Yeah.
Morelos has been out injured, which has been sort of their key man up front, and still they're putting on these unbelievable performances, and they have been playing really, really well. Look, they're not where they are for no reason. Yeah. You know, they have been impressive at times, and yeah, it looks like he's been a good fit.
There's two brilliant managers in the league now, managing both sides. Like, and you know, all jokes aside with the European fandom and like supporting Rangers, obviously not going to happen. It's the most bitter rivalry I can think of in this side of the world. But like, the rivalry's always been there. But it feels like, to me, looking from the outside in and not following the Scottish League every week, is that like the football is also reaching a level that's getting higher and higher because the coaching is improving and the players are buying into the coaching of both coaches, the standard of them.
Definitely, and if you see the likes of Jota, Kyogo, Maeda, who've made massive impacts coming to the club, but the type of players that they are, you know, that highlights the Scottish League again. Like, we've seen it, I suppose, with the likes I've mentioned, Larson. Like, you know, people took notice.
Yeah.
And Jota is this type of player. Kyogo is this type of player. And you need these players to play in the league for people to take notice. So I definitely think it's going to only keep growing. You know, it's at a good point now. You know, I do feel, yes, people say it's a two-horse race, but, you know, it is at a good point and it's exciting. And I suppose that rivalry is what drives it. You know, it's when those two teams meet, it's massive and there's never that much between them. And that rivalry is unbelievable. Yeah. You know, when you come to that Glasgow Derby day, it's immense to see. But yeah.
Clearly not in Colm's eyes. I mean, this is a rivalry that one group of fans should feel happy for the other, which of course all terrible rivalries.
And they put it all aside. Yeah.
Been a bit of a reaction to that question, needless to say. Sheahan's been in touch just on the footballing point, first of all, saying Celtic's recruitment has been off the charts impressive, and getting a manager from the J-League ended up being such a smart decision when most doubted it, and a lot did doubt it at the time. Joseph says, the only reason I would back Rangers is that the club had historical links to my favourite club, Chelsea. And then we get into the fandom thing. John says, Celtic fandom definitely increases the further up the country you go. Colm being the most detached down in Cork from Celtic.
That is, John, that's nonsense. That's nonsense, John. I was a huge Celtic fan when I was growing up. Genuinely, massive Celtic fan in the Martin O'Neill days.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with Celtic. I watched their, was it 2000-2001 season, O'Neill's first in charge when they won the treble. I watched that VHS so much the VHS broke. Like, I knew every game off by heart. That was the year that Henrik Larsson started with the dreadlocks and shaved his head, and then just somehow just became even better. And I remember that team, they played the 5-3-2 system, which was quite rare enough in British football at the time, way ahead of their time. And then that team reached the zenith by reaching the UEFA Cup final. I loved that Celtic side, loved it.
John Hartson.
Yeah,
it was on RT2 then, the games, weren't they? That's how I started to follow Celtic,
the European games.
I remember coming in before, like, whatever age I was, going to bed, we were able to watch the games. Everyone was sitting around watching the telly, but you can't watch them as easy now.
Paul Lambert coming back from Borussia Dortmund, lording it in midfield, Stilian Petrov, what a player. And then you had Didier Gath on the right wing back. Alan Thompson left wing, that's all coming back. Yeah, that was an unbelievable side. I love that Celtic side. My uncle from Clare, also what I'm called massive Celtic fan in like Celtic Supporters Club. And then for whatever reason, mid-2000s, O'Neill left, Gordon Strachan came in, Roy Keane signed, but I just kind of lost interest. I felt the league wasn't as competitive gradually, and I suppose Celtic lost the star quality, and then I suppose I just more focused on the Premier League side of things.
But this team now for Celtic gives me vibes of that team.
Right, yeah.
It really does. So it's time to get back on the bandwagon, Colm.
Okay, I'll give next season a go.
Patrick has been in touch to say, for someone to ask what a Celtic supporter hoped for a Rangers victory for the good of the Scottish League is truly ludicrous, and his journalistic credentials should be rescinded.
Patrick,
but have you not listened to his bit about the VHS there, that he's surely got his journalistic credentials back after that?
Thinking like that, like, we're going to go nowhere with that closed-minded thinking, do you know?
I'm with Patrick.